It's me, Doc, and welcome to Tune of the Week, Week 1. It's still Week 1, still Cluck Old Hen, but we're on Lesson 3 now. So let's get on to that. This lesson is going to be still more rhythm and chords, just like the last one. The last one was the boom chuck, and now we're doing the chop. Got a lot of cool names here for our rhythm parts, don't we? Boom chucks, chops, things like that, claw hammer. Alright, so chop chord. This is usually described as a 3 or 4 finger chord on the mandolin. They call them chop chords, and they're usually muted, either with these fingers or palm muted, and it sort of provides a backbeat and percussive sound and helps drive songs forward, especially bluegrass songs. I mean, it's not really a bluegrass band unless you have a mandolin playing a chop chord. To a lot of people, at least, they think that. And so, if you know what a mandolin is, if you've heard bluegrass, you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, maybe go check that out. Maybe Google mandolin chop or Bill Monroe or something, and see what a mandolin is. If you don't know what a mandolin is, it's very similar to an ukulele, sort of in concept, but it's designed a little bit different. It almost always has steel strings, usually doubled, so in this 2 sets of the same string, so it's extra loud, and it's usually played with a pick. It's about the same size as the ukulele, though, maybe a little smaller. It's usually tuned in fifths instead of the 4th and 3rd right there for the ukulele. Fifths are a lot better for melodies, in my opinion, and they're all right on chords too. But definitely, the mandolin is superior to the ukulele in its loudness and its melodic ability, probably. But the ukulele obviously has its own strengths too. But yeah, I got off the track on the mandolin. But yeah, go listen to the chop a little bit and see what I'm talking about. Let me just play it right here. Like I said, it's usually a 4-finger chord, and it's played percussively. So instead of doing the boom chuck like we did before, we're doing the chop. All right, so let me show you that. My old hen, she's a good old hen. She lays eggs for the railroad men. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. That's enough for the whole dang crew. Cluck old hen, cluck and sing. Ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and squall. Ain't laid an egg since way last fall. Right? Easy. So, let's go over what I'm doing first with the sound, and then we'll go over the chord, okay? So let's pick a 4-finger chord. We'll do G right here, okay? So we know how to do G already, right? But for the chop chord, like I said, it's a 4-finger chord. We want to make sure we can mute all these strings, so we don't want any open strings on a chop chord. So we're going to take our pinky, and we're going to put it on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and that is now part of our chord. Because remember, from the last lesson, that's the 3rd of G major. It's the same note as this one up here. So it fits right in the chord, and now we've got 4 fingers. You notice how when we hold the strings down, they sound, right? But if I lift my fingers up slightly, even if keeping the chord, they stop sounding, right? Right? And that's we're basically hijacking that for the chop. We saw earlier that when you imitate the bass on the boom chuck, you're hitting the 1 and the 3, right? Well, the mandolin is doing the opposite of that. We're doing the 2 and the 4. So the bass and the guitar are always doing ba, so ba, 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 ba. But the mandolin's going ba, 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 ba. So you got a full sound together. You got ba, 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 ba. Right? All right. So basically, the way I play that is I have my strings muted, right? I have my string chord playing, and then I mute it, right? So if I strum it like this, it makes this noise. Sorry, that's my dog. She's loud. See, they're all muted like this, but I'm still keeping my fingers where the chord goes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just like the boom chuck, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do the same thing, When I hit the 1 on here, I'm going to hit the low note right here while it's muted, see? So it doesn't really sound. And then on the 2, the chuck part of the boom chuck, I'm going to actually play the chord, I'm going to strum the full chord, and then I'm going to immediately lift my fingers up to mute it. Bug bites. So, see, I did very slowly. Muted hit, strum, mute. See? Ooh. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, you got that? Alright, so that was the G chord, so obviously we have to learn the A chord, and luckily it's pretty easy. You go G, E sharp, sorry, we got A right there, so that's 6, 4, 5, 4. Do. It's in the tab. Alright, so that's A, and that's G. We have to apply our chop rhythm to that, so see? Got it? Alright, now this chord is hard, and this chord is hard. Alright, so if you're struggling with them, that's totally okay. And we have a workaround, we have a cheat, and I'll show you right now. We just get rid of, that's the hardest one to play, right? So we just get rid of that one. But that's not a very easy fingering. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ring finger and put it on the 6th fret of the 4th string. We're going to take our index finger and put it on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And then we're going to take our middle finger and put it on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Now we've got the triad of that last chord. Alright, we've got 3 notes here that we can mute. What about this last note? We've got to figure out a way to make sure that doesn't sound with our fingers. So we have to figure out a way to mute that either by touching it with this or with your pinky. See, like this. You don't hear it. What if I don't do that? See, look how it sounds. So we want to make sure we're muting that. So remember, that was 6, 4, 5. That's for A, and then for G, you just slide it down. Alright, and now we've got some nice, easier chop chords here. My old hen, she's a good old hen. She lays eggs for railroad men. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. That's enough for the whole dang crew. Got it? Alright, so let's try working on that rhythm a little bit. You can add an upstroke there, so instead of going this every time, you can go. Right? Easy. So. So make sure you can do those, alright? Now, the real challenge with this is getting the rhythm, the percussion, the sound right. It's not really the chords themselves. So this is one of those ones where you're just going to have to drill practice with the backing tracks, and just try and hit those 2s and 4s all the time. Listen to some bluegrass, make sure you're doing the right thing. You know, my old hen, she's a good old hen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and if you want like an alternate way to play it, we can throw in an A7 there too. We got this nice A7 voicing that I use in jazz guitar sometimes, but we could throw it in here. So take index finger, put it on the 2nd fret, 4th string. Take your ring finger and put it on the 4th fret, 3rd string. Take your middle finger and put it on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. And then take your pinky and put it on the 4th fret of the 1st string. Now we've got an A7 there, a 4-finger chord that we can mute afterwards. Right? So now we can go. Or we can do the triad. My old hen, she's a good old hen. She lays eggs for the railroad men. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. That's enough for the whole damn crew. Cluck, old hen, cluck and sing. Ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck, old hen, cluck and squall. Ain't laid an egg since way last fall. Alright? Alright, so that's lesson 3. That's the shortest lesson because it's the easiest thing. We're not replacing a mandolin. We're not even really doing everything a mandolin does. We're taking the most stereotypical part of a mandolin part and doing it. So we're basically, it's an homage and a parody at the same time, but it fits in a lot of things. Like if you go to a jam and there's no mandolin player and there's like a guitar player and another ukulele player, a lot of chordal instruments, how do you fit in? Well, you make yourself more of a percussion instrument. Get yourself out of the way. Or, you know, maybe there's a mandolin player and he's playing a solo and you want to back him up and give him what he was giving everyone else, a nice backbeat. Do that, but make sure your time is good if you're going to do this style, okay? If you're going to play with other people, you got to make sure your timing is good. So go back and hit those backing tracks, get a metronome out, and just drill this stuff, okay? Alright, so thanks for watching about the chop, and the next lesson will be about soloing, more about melodic variation, and we'll be learning a few other positions for the minor pentatonic scale as well, okay? Alright, so see you next time.